Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Just wanted to do a quick review of the Harbor Freight 1,720 pound Super Duty folding trailer. Now don't be fooled by the grand name. I wouldn't necessarily call it a Super Duty, but compared to its sibling, I think it's a 1,100 pound trailer. This can hold about 500 or 600 pounds more. Bottom line, it's a pretty lightweight flatbed trailer. It's made of steel. It is a folding trailer, so if all you have is a small spot in your garage, you can fold it up, and it really does take very little space. Now, I don't use the folding feature. I bought it because it was a low budget trailer that met my needs, which, as you can see, I use it to haul around my kayaks for fishing, and it does a great job of doing that. So since I don't fold it up, I went ahead and put in a plywood bottom. This is actually my second trailer. My first trailer, probably it was the same type from Harbor Freight. It went about 15 years, but started to get a little too much rust and some other odds and ends I didn't want to really deal with when I could just buy a new trailer for $400 or $500, and that's all these things cost. So when you're looking at an old beat up utility trailer here in Southern California that's going to run you $1,000, I thought this was the better way to go. So just to let you know, if you want to put one of these together, it does take a bit of time. I mean, you're looking at a full weekend, of off and on work to get it done. I took about 3 days, 4 days. I just did a couple of hours each day, and was able to get it, taken care of that way. A couple of tips when you're making the trailer is to really be careful about the squareness of the different parts of the trailer when you put them together. You want to make sure that before you tighten down those bolts that you have like an angle iron, some type of square, to be able to make sure that you've got good 90-degree angles, because once you tighten it down and it's put together, if it's all crooked, you're going to be in a difficult situation trying to figure out what to do. I went ahead and bought the 2x4s for putting together the rails. Pretty easy, pretty quick. I got the cheapest stain I could get from Home Depot, and I think it turned out pretty nice. My last trailer, my rails didn't go up quite so high, and I couldn't get as much stuff underneath the kayaks as I would have liked to, so this time I made them a little higher so I can put more stuff in there underneath. Putting it together is really not very technical. I mean, there's about 100 nuts and bolts in the bag that comes with it, and that's pretty much what you're doing all day long, is just tightening up nuts and bolts in the proper places. So as long as you can follow along with the moderately written instructions, they're not the greatest, but I was able to to follow along and get it done without too much trouble and without too many extra pieces, which always makes you feel good when you don't have extra bolts after you're done putting it together. But yeah, I think it came out pretty nice. One of the things I added to it was this I don't know what you call it, trailer wheel, whatever. It's about $30 at Harbor Freight, and that comes in handy to wheel it around. The electrical that comes with it is pretty sufficient. There's plenty of wiring. One thing I like about the newer model is they have really nice bright LED lighting for your brake lights and turn indicators and so forth, which was not the case in the earlier model. It was very dim. I really appreciate the brighter lighting and the visibility. Another thing I did that I thought would help keep the trailer lasting longer was I took the fenders and I put black truck bed paint, you know, that thick truck bed cover paint. I bought a couple bottles and just kind of thickened up the coating on it, because I noticed on my old trailer that, you know, that was one of the first things that would start to deteriorate since it gets wet, you know, a lot. Other than that, the tires are a little bit better. In this version, you get a 5-lug wheel, and it's a tad bit bigger than my other tires were, which is nice. I believe that these are still maximum 55 miles per hour type trailer tires. So you have to be careful when you're going on a trip. You know, if you start getting up there in 60 and 70 miles an hour, you're taking a chance that you might put a little too much stress on those tires. You can upgrade to better tires that can get you, you know, 65 to 70 miles an hour, more typical highway mileage, without worrying about it. I had the old tires that were 55 miles an hour the whole time I had my other trailer, and I never had a problem. And most of the time I would get up to about 70, but I'd never go over that. I'd usually try to keep it at about 65. But anyhow, I will probably upgrade these to the better tires once I get a little more cash. But other than that, if you're looking for a lightweight trailer that, you know, can handle around 1,000 pounds, in this case maybe 1,500, this little flatbed steel trailer from Harbor Freight is a really good buy. And, you know, I got almost 15 years out of the last one, so I'd say that's pretty good for that price point. It does a great job with my kayaks. If you get creative and, you know, build up a wooden railing system around it to meet your needs, it can become even more useful. So anyway, I just wanted to bring out a few points about it and tell you what my thoughts were. If you're looking for something heavier, you know, ATVs, or you want to haul rocks, that kind of thing, or you need a gate, because again, this is just a flatbed. None of this came with it, right? This is just a flat steel bed trailer. If you want to have metal gating around it with a ramp that maybe folds down like a utility trailer, so you can run a vehicle up in it, or be able to walk up in it with furniture, that's going to be harder to, you know, to come up with. So keep in mind what your use is, and buy accordingly. But otherwise, I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for something to just tote things around. I wanted to add one other thing that came to mind when I was putting it together. You have to make sure that your electrical is grounded, and typically you have your white ground and it will go to something that, you know, is screwed into the frame. They didn't really give you that ability to screw down onto the frame anywhere, so I thought about drilling a hole, but this is really thick stuff and the screw hole wouldn't be very big, so it would have to be a very small drill bit, which would probably break or whatever. So I decided to just use the nuts and bolts as my grounding screw. So you can see it just goes to the back side of this nut and bolt here. And the same thing goes for these little side blinkers, running light things. They each have a ground that comes out, as well as your brake lights. And I had to do the same thing. I had to go underneath, find a screw that was close enough, a nut and bolt, loosen it up, and then tighten it down so I could get a good ground. So far so good, seems to work fine. So hopefully, you know, over time that's not going to cause an issue that I might have to revisit, but if it does, not a big deal. Also, another thing that you know, for me and for probably most people, when you have a trailer, you probably don't have room in your garage for it, so you might be putting it out on the side yard, or in my case it's in the front driveway, so it's a little exposed to potential thieves and things of that nature. So have some security measures on it. I've got this this Reese hitch locking mechanism that works pretty good, so you can't hook up the hitch here to any vehicle, so that helps. I also have some cables that I use to go through my wheels, run them through the holes here and lock the whole thing up along with my kayaks, to keep things safe as well. So anyway, that was just a couple of points I wanted to bring out, as far as, you know, to keep in mind when you're getting ready to do your electrical. Most of these items that I pointed out, you can read more about them down in the description of the video. So okay, I hope this is helpful for you guys and gals. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.